Have you ever had a great idea but chose to drop it because of a voice in your head saying, "You're not going to succeed. You don't have what it takes"? Is there a way to stop that voice from constantly criticizing you and putting you down? Hi, I'm Angela from GrowthGarden. Let's find out what negative self-talk is, how it blocks us from the life we want, and how to flip things around so our brain is working for us and not against us. Let's start by understanding what is self-talk and why does it have such a big impact on us? Do you realize that you're constantly talking to yourself in your head? What did I want to get from the grocery store? Why am I so forgetful? Oh, that's a cute poodle. Ew, what an ugly shirt. Gee, I can't believe I just said that. That voice in your head just goes on and on and on from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Self-talk is completely normal, but it can be potentially harmful if left unchecked. Just imagine this. You're about to give an important presentation to your CEO and the entire senior management team. As you stand in front of the room and prepare your notes, a voice in your head whispers, "You are such a lousy presenter. You had better not screw up this time." You are flooded by memories of your last disastrous presentation. Your stomach churns and your throat tightens. You forget all your opening lines and the points that you spent so hard preparing. You catch your CEO shaking his head and your colleagues are smirking in the background. Your confidence crumbles. You rush through the rest of the presentation and you retreat thinking, "I really am a hopeless presenter." Could this have gone differently? Let's tweak the scenario slightly. As you stand in front of the room and prepare your notes, you tell yourself, "I'm going to deliver a great presentation because I've done all my homework and rehearsed thoroughly. I'm ready for this." Energized, you smile confidently and deliver your opening line followed by your analysis. Your CEO shakes his head thoughtfully, concerned about the market risk that you've just revealed. Your colleagues smile encouragingly in the background. You navigate through the slides and answer questions confidently. And as you conclude, the room bursts out in applause. And you walk out with a sense of achievement thinking, "That was a great presentation and I can keep improving." Can you see how a single change in self-talk can affect your perceptions, your response to the situation, and ultimately, your results? Let's take a deeper look at why this happens, how we can reduce self-sabotage and start getting the results that we want. Of all the books that I read on this topic, I found Dr. Shad Helmstetter's self-management sequence to be the most useful as an anchor framework. In case you wish to deep dive further, I've added the links in the description below to the books, as well as the book summaries for my business reading graphics. For now, let's zoom into the framework. Later, I'll be sharing my personal formula from testing and adapting these ideas over the years. Basically, our programming, like things that we were taught since young, shapes our perspectives about ourselves and the world at large. These beliefs in turn affect our attitudes and perspectives about life. For example, do you believe that people are by nature good or bad? Are your abilities fixed or changeable? For this video, we'll just simplify this into one box called beliefs and mindsets. Those beliefs and mindsets affect how you feel about people, things, or events. Back to the presentation example. When you believed that you were a bad presenter, you saw your CEO shaking his head in disgust or disapproval, and you were convinced that your colleagues were secretly laughing at you. But when you were feeling confident about your presentation, you saw your CEO thoughtfully digesting what you shared and your colleagues immersed in the presentation. The situation was exactly the same. The only difference was what was happening in your head. So, what can we do about this to achieve the outcomes that we want? Well, we can tackle it at 3 levels. We can target our mindsets or beliefs, which I'll address in a separate video, or we can address our feelings, which is also another topic by itself. For the rest of this video, we'll focus solely on something that is more concrete and straightforward. That's your self-talk. Self-talk is observable since we can actually hear what we say to ourselves and to others. By managing our words, we can influence how we feel, and over time, what we say repeatedly tends to seep into our beliefs. With that, let's look at how to overcome negative self-talk. Here's the thing, we cannot directly shut down our negative self-talk, but we can replace it with positive self-talk. So instead of living with a voice that constantly puts you down, let's replace it with a voice that lifts you up. To change your inner voice and change your outcomes, remember to ACT. Remember this acronym, A.C.T, because we'll be using these 3 letters to remember our strategy for positive self-talk. Let's go over each one. A stands for awareness. Self-awareness is critical because we can't change something until we are aware of it. So let's try this exercise. For the next 48 hours, listen out for the words, "I can't," "I'm not," "I have to," or "I should." This could be words that you're thinking internally to yourself, things that you say to others, or even words that you write in your email or text messages. Once you notice these words, pay attention to how they make you feel and what beliefs or mindsets are behind the words. Often, the worst self-talks are the things that we say or think automatically without conscious awareness. Like, I'm a slow learner, or I'm hopeless with names. Once you can catch yourself, you have a chance to examine those words. Ask probing questions like, where did I pick this up? Who was the first person I heard that from? What triggered me to say that? Such questions help to pave the way for a more important question. Is there another way to think about this? Basically, with some self-awareness, we can start to do some self-corrections by switching our negative words with the positive ones. Let's look at how we can flip things around with a few concrete examples. When you say, I can't go to the party tonight, you probably feel guilty, frustrated, or even helpless. But hang on, what if you change the words to, I choose not to go to the party tonight, so I can prepare for an important presentation tomorrow? Because that is the truth. You are choosing to prioritize the presentation because you want to perform well. That choice is fully within your control. How about when you say, I'm not good at presenting, or I'm not going to make it? That probably makes you feel drained and hopeless. Now, what if you switch that to, I can get better at presenting by writing down my points and rehearsing them. Now suddenly, there's something constructive that you can do to bring yourself forward, and you feel more hopeful and confident. Let's look at this one. I have to lose weight. It calls up images of your love handles and layers of unwanted fat. Those feelings of guilt, shame, and obligation are really not helping you. How about, I want to become fitter and healthier. Suddenly, you're picturing a healthier, fitter self and feeling motivated to take action. Because you're reminding yourself that this is what you want, not something being forced down your throat. Now, a word of caution. There's a lot of advice out there that says, fake it until you make it. The idea is to behave as if you're already there. You visualize and say things like, I am rich and successful. I am an amazing presenter. But the problem is, if you don't believe that deep inside, then saying those words will only make you feel like an imposter. And that will backfire. So after trying out different methods, I realized that it's best to avoid words like I am, I can, or I will if you sense an inner conflict the moment you say it. One workaround is to go beyond generic statements by adding a specific reason or action that will make the statement believable. For example, you probably would feel very good if you say, I really should stop procrastinating. Nor if you swing to the other extreme and say, I am a go-getter. Instead, by saying, I am able to take action consistently because I'm blocking out time in my calendar to get important things done. Now, let's consolidate these tips into actionable phrases that you can use. You can pause this video to take note of these words, then we're going to try them together with a small exercise. I say the negative talk, and you think of how you can spin it in your own way. I can't handle this situation. I can handle this situation because I've overcome similar challenges before. I should get better at this. I want to improve by practicing more. If only I had started earlier. It's possible to start now and still get a good outcome. So how did that go? It can feel a bit awkward initially, but the more you do it, the better you get at catching yourself with the negative self-talk and correcting yourself. That way, you don't let the negative ideas fester in your mind. Now that you have the awareness and the tools for correction, let's move on to the last element. T is for transformation. Let's return to the self-management sequence that we saw earlier. When we practice negative self-talk, we reinforce negativity in our brain. We want to break this cycle. And the best way to do that is to correct yourself once you catch the negative self-talk. On top of that, we want to create a healthier cycle of positive self-talk. Let's look at 3 practical tips to help you accelerate the transformation of your inner voice. First, identify your most common negative self-talk and prepare 1 to 2 positive anchors in advance. That way, you don't have to dream up new positive self-talk each time. For example, if you often think, I'm not good enough, then sit down and recall a scenario when you successfully overcame a challenge in the past, or proved yourself worthy of success. Anchor the scenario in your mind along with the feelings. Now, each time you say the words, I'm becoming better, or I can succeed because, call out the scenario and the associated feelings. You can also think of someone that you look up to, or fast forward to the future to imagine your ideal future self. What would that person say or do in a difficult situation? Fix that image in your mind and call it out when you need a boost. Second, reinforce your positive self-talk. Write down the positive phrases so you can read them regularly. If you're an auditory person, record it as an audio and play it back to yourself. Third, don't do this alone. Get a trusted friend or buddy who can help you to make the switch. You can even share the anchors with them. Oh, I'm so bad at calculations, I'm never going to get this spreadsheet done. You are getting better at spreadsheets and computations because you're a fast and motivated learner. Remember how you learned coding in just 2 weeks? You've got this. With regular positive reinforcements, you can change your self-perception. By becoming aware of the negative self-talk and correcting them to positive ones, you will stop reinforcing the negative results and beliefs and start building new positive ones. Over time, you transform the way you think and talk to yourself. Like any habit, this will take time. The more you practice the A.C.T process, the easier it will become. To explore other ways to manage your feelings and mindset, do check out the list of recommended resources and videos in the description. And subscribe to get notification of new videos like this. Besides managing your inner voice, there are many other ways to amplify your success. Here is another video to help you get the outcomes that you want in life. I'll see you there.